Affairs Secretary Doug Collins announcing his department is aiming to slash 15% of its workforce, as many as 80,000 employees.
Now, we regret anyone who loses their job, but we'll be making major changes, so get used to it.
Democrats are warning veterans will be the ones who suffer.
This staffing cut is a betrayal of our promise to our service members. It is outrageous.
So, Peter, all of this coming as the president appears to have faced a bit of a setback at the Supreme Court over foreign aid. What more can you tell us about that?
Yeah, Craig, you're right. This was a narrow 5-4 ruling. The Supreme Court rejecting the Trump administration's request to freeze nearly $2 billion in spending for foreign aid to contractors who work for the group USAID. They provide food, aid, medicine to countries around the world. It's not clear when the administration is going to have to start spending that money, sending it out. Conservative Chief Justice John Roberts and Amy Coney Barrett, interestingly, joined the liberal justices in this case, ruling against one of President Trump's major efforts to cut federal spending. Craig.
All right, well, Chief White House correspondent Peter Alexander for us there. Peter, thank you.
There's also fallout this morning from President Trump's newly launched tariffs against the country's largest trading partners, Canada, Mexico, and China. Consumers are starting to feel the impact now. Some grocery prices are already rising again, but the administration is announcing a brief reprieve for one key sector, U.S. automakers. NBC's senior business correspondent Christine Roman's watching all of it for us. Christine, good morning.
Good morning to you, too. You know, that announcement from the White House has provided some temporary relief to the American auto companies, but the key word here, guys, is temporary. While the administration has signaled there could be other carve-outs, maybe, the tariffs for those three countries remain largely in place, with more tariffs expected in a matter of weeks. America's big three automakers breathing a temporary sigh of relief this morning after the Trump administration announced a pause on the 25% tariffs for vehicles and auto parts coming from Mexico and Canada.
The president is giving them an exemption for 1 month so they are not at an economic disadvantage.
That move after the White House says it heard directly from Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis. And just hours after the president acknowledged in his address to lawmakers that Americans could have to pay more, while also downplaying the impact.
Quickly, there'll be a little disturbance, but we're okay with that.
According to one estimate, tariffs will cost the average American household $1,200 to $1,300 more a year for the goods they're buying now.
It's going to cost them more. Building the average house is going to cost more.
From hardware stores to the supermarket shelves, suppliers and shoppers are preparing for price increases in the coming days.
We want to make sure that we give our customers the best value, right, and the best, freshest products available.
At grocery stores like Stu Leonard's, that includes foods from Canada and Mexico like fish and avocados.
Do you think you'll adjust sort of your menu with your kids and stuff based on some of the, I guess how prices come in?
Definitely making more at home than going out and things like that, because I'm sure the restaurant prices are going to go up too.
And while the grocery chain says it will try to absorb some of the cost increase, customers may also see higher prices. Back in Washington, fears of a trade war ramping up as China, Canada, and Mexico threaten to retaliate to the tariffs. The Chinese embassy in the U.S. tweeting earlier this week, quote, "If war is what the U.S. wants, be it a tariff war, a trade war, or any other type of war, we're ready to fight to the end." The Trump administration responding yesterday that America will always be prepared to defend itself.
So these tariffs are in effect. There are more tariffs coming in early April. Do you expect other relief, little one-offs like this, as we saw with the auto industry for 1 month?
You know, I don't think the president wants to do that. I really don't. I think that you had J.D. Vance, the vice president, last night saying, you know, we don't want to have carve-outs for 500 different industries. Everybody thinks they should be exempt from these tariffs. But he said, go ahead and make your products in the United States and you don't have to worry about it. So there's some talk about maybe agriculture. There's a lot of parts of the U.S. economy that could be damaged by tariffs. But the president seems to be very adamant that he wants to put the screws to America's trading partners and tighten those screws. He wants the drug trade stopped, and he wants production in the United States. That seems to be the two tracks here.
And it's interesting because then you have members of his administration, like the Commerce Secretary, indicating, oh, maybe we'll meet in the middle, we're going to soften it, but there's a disconnect there.
There are compromisers and there are hardliners in this administration, and it seems, at least when you watch the public airwaves, there seems to be a battle between those two factions.
Okay.